That would be Steve, of course. I took care of that, Steve, because okay. I am like...
Sorry, I got excited. The Capitals just scored.
Everybody's excited.
I am like a watchful parent. Okay, listen, if you're watching us, give us a comment. Tell us you can hear us. We've had some technical difficulties. We have a new studio set up. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. So... maybe, just give us a comment or something like that.
We've got a new technical director, Christian Klein.
That's what they used to call me when I was a landscaper. The little Mexican guys. They were like, Christian. Yeah. Yes. So anyway, listen, welcome to the Sports Porch.
Fabulous.
Okay, great. Thank you, Amy. Finally. Okay, welcome to the Sports Porch. The Sports Porch Pittsburgh. We are live. I want to thank you for being here and listening on American Busker, iHeartRadio. American Busker has 150 million registered, iHeartRadio has 150 million registered users, 2,000 devices across 260 platforms. And you can catch the Sports Porch podcast on the iHeartRadio app or just about anywhere you get your podcasts. And of course, you can always hit our website at theporchislive.com, theporchislive.com.
The Porch is live.com.
Very good. Very good. See, we're already overusing the sound effects.
Yes, we are. Sound effects.
Yes, we are. Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Have a talk with the technical director.
Yes, we will. Hey, Amy, drop us a comment and just tell me that Steve and Mark sound the same as I do. Yeah, if it still sounds fabulous. So
we sound good no matter where we're talking. Come on.
And we'd like to thank Amy Mae Schwab, our producer.
Yes,
she's the real technical director of this show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well done.
Yeah.
She is also, give her a moment to respond as she is folding laundry while watching the show.
Oh, okay.
Hey, it's a good show to fold laundry to.
Does she enjoy folding your boxer shorts?
Why don't you shut your mouth?
Schwab is so into the microphone here. He's like,
I do like the microphone.
Why don't you
I knew
shut
you guys
your
would like
mouth?
that. I knew you guys would like that. All right. Okay, listen, man, we got a show to get into right now. So the first thing we want to talk about, obviously, is the Pirates and the start that they're off to. I feel like Schwaber is going to be, well, let's talk about the Pirates, Chris. Let's talk about the whole time. So
as long as he doesn't break out into another Prince song, we'll be okay.
Yeah, right. So look, the Buccos are off to a 6-3 start, and
how about those Buccos?
There you go. Thank you.
The Buccos.
Thank you. Yes, and obviously, all over the news, Cruz injured. They get off to a great start. Reynolds,
unbelievable. Reynolds is hitting .405 with 5 home runs and 14 RBIs. Player of the week.
Major League Baseball's Player of the Week.
Yeah,
and Brian Reynolds.
And I'll be honest with you. I mean, I like him as a player, but I never saw him having a week like that before.
Yeah, I mean, 5 home runs is above his pedigree.
Yeah, that's a week.
But hey, we'll take it. If you're going to go 6-3, you're going to need somebody hitting 5 home runs, especially now that Cruz is out for 4 months. But he'll be back in time for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
yes.
The push.
And real quick, DG is in the house. Thank you for being here, DG. Drop us a comment. Let us know how the sound is. We got a new sound set up here, and just give us a thumbs up or something. So 6-3, obviously, when we talk, we've launched our show in Philadelphia, and obviously the Phillies last year, they made the World Series. And one of the things we, concentrated on when we were talking about them is the fact that it's a long season. Okay. And the expectations for the Phillies are obviously a lot higher than the Pirates, but to get off to a 6-3 start, and, especially yesterday, that 1-0 game, take the Cruz injury out of it for now.
Right.
Okay, that's a your pitching is showing up. Bednar is an all-star reliever. Reynolds, as Mark just said, is he's out to get paid. And
who isn't?
And he is talented. And I just then Cruz breaks his ankle, and it's like, are they really that cursed? Because how do you replace that guy? I mean, who do you replace him with? They're talking about Rodolfo Castro, and the guy they just brought up, Matthias, is that his name?
Yeah, something like that.
Right. Are you actually paying attention to baseball?
Well, just because they're winning.
Is Rodolfo Castro a world leader or a Major League Baseball player?
That's Fidel.
I don't know.
Oh, Fidel Castro. My apologies.
Yeah. Lynn Cavelli says not doing so well tonight. I don't know what that means.
Oh, sorry about that, Lynn.
A few minutes ago, they were down 4-1.
Yeah. She's talking about the Pirates.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the good Pirates.
Sorry, Lynn. Yeah.
And by the way, I disagree with your definition of a curse. A curse is if a guy is running the first base and he twists his ankle. Like what Cruz did was, I don't even know what it was. If you've seen the play, he wasn't sliding. It was like he was running. He knew he was caught because he kind of put his arms up, and then like at the last moment he decided to slide. And this guy's you turn me off.
Sorry, no, we're good now. We're good.
Was that on purpose?
No, it was an accident.
I'm not so sure I'm liking this in the studio. An accident just happened.
Try not to play around with the levers.
I know. I was. Yeah, that's my fault. Totally my fault.
Don't touch the button.
Sorry. Let us know you can still hear us. I didn't screw us up. He was about to go into a rant too. I apologize.
The problem with Cruz is he doesn't know how to friggin' slide. I mean, he's 6'7", and he decides that at the last moment he's going to slide in the home base when clearly the catcher already has the ball and can tag him out. Like,
it should have been a head first slide, like to the outside of the plate, and maybe you make it, but you're probably out anyway.
I don't think a guy that's 6'7" should be sliding personally. Like you make the decision to go for it or you don't. And I to me, when he put up his hands, it was like, I'm caught. Like, oh, well. He should have just let the guy tag him, and then he goes in, and then he gets to play for the next 4 months. But instead, he decides he wants to fall down like a 10-year-old trying to slide, and he fractures his foot. I mean,
well, I'm not so sure that I agree with he shouldn't have slid. I think that he was just never taught how to slide correctly.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to put it on him. It's
in
not
all
that
honesty, it was a fluke play. I mean, it was just fluke. I mean, he kind of like caught himself mid slide, didn't know if you didn't fully commit to it, and basically probably his cleat caught something on the ground, and that was it. It was just a fluke play. Let's not overanalyze it, boys.
Yeah.
But he's out for 4 months, and there goes the season.
Yes.
Well, here's what I like to say about the 6-3 start. This is very typical of the Pirates. Remember last year, I believe they got off to a really good start too. They were like 5-2 or something.
Were
like
they?
That. Yeah. Yeah. They were off to a really good start, and everybody was like, oh, maybe they won't be as bad as you think they will be. Well, let's analyze it through my eyes, which is
please
a jaded Pittsburgh Pirates fan who wants to be a fan. Okay. And I will watch some games at some point, but I didn't watch any of these 9.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But what I did notice is in the box scores, they can't beat Cincinnati. And they can't beat Cincinnati because Cincinnati's not sexy and they're in the division and they can't beat the divisional teams. But when they go up to Boston, now all the players come out because they're like, this is an opportunity for me to get the hell out of Pittsburgh. Let's shine up in Boston. And they sweep Boston 3-0, right?
Interesting.
And then they come home. You're going to get a bump from the home opener. Kutch, everybody's crying, I guess, whatever. By the way, I think the signing of Kutch was a fabulous marketing deal. Makes it so much easier.
Yeah, we talked.
So and they got some money for that on Friday night when they win.
They did.
And then they lose and then they win. The interesting thing about them winning and losing, I mean, it's the Chicago White Sox, so they're not going to play them again. But I mean, they win what 13-9
Yeah,
one game,
yeah.
and then they win 1-0. Like
1-0.
what
Yeah.
is this team like that?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make sense.
Well, that goes back to what we talked about before, which is it's a long season. So take the O'Neal Cruz, even if Cruz doesn't get injured, I think that you have more of a situation in which, like you said, Steve, they're off to a good start.
Yeah.
And unfortunately with Cruz being, I think it's more of, it kind of sucks more because we wanted to see what Cruz was able to do as opposed to like he would make him a winner.
Right. Yeah. Can he not strike out as much? Can he be more consistent?
Can he go 30? Can he do 30-30? Which
not this year.
I gotta say, yeah, definitely not. Yeah, and he's out till August, but like they're gonna bring him back and put him right in. I mean, if, and it's a humongous if, they're in playoff contention, maybe, but they're not gonna rush him back. I would count him as out for the rest of the year. I would too. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Just let him heal.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Now Amy likes to chime in here once in a while. She says the new sound system is making us all sound sexy.
Hey, Amy, let's keep that to just one.
Yeah, there you go.
And, please.
Yeah,
Mark gets all the sexy notes.
Yeah, DG, the sound is great. You are clear with a little more bass than in past episodes. That's right, DG. Thank you very much. Like a microphone sound system. Now, here's the one thing that I keep looking at Schwab, because in all of our podcasts, okay, and remember, you can get the Sports Porch podcast on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you get your podcasts. We drop the episode right after the live shows. On all of them, Schwab is always sniffing and coughing and all that kind of stuff. You got to try to keep the sniffling down a little bit.
Well,
what do you do? Do you like snort a huge line of Coke before you come in here to the?
No,
I was going to say,
you know what? I did see him pulling in the driveway.
Yeah, well, is he like snorting Coke?
I couldn't tell what he was doing, but he put something into the glove compartment.
He's got a response, though. I know that.
Don't call me a drug addict. That's inappropriate. What I have to say is I have seasonal allergies. And just by my being here to begin with, I mean, this is the commitment.
It is.
Yeah, you don't know just how hard it is for me to do this show.
Yes, I know. And apparently you do have some sort of an addiction.
I am addicted to nasal spray. In fact, I have some on my person.
We're going to have to frisk him before he comes into the studio.
Oh, you guys, if you're not watching the Porches live, you have no idea what you're missing. So DG agrees with Mark that he was late to commit to his slide. And like Schwaber said, we don't want to overanalyze it. We don't. Look, bad things happen on slides. Your legs are in weird positions. The ball bounces the wrong way. The catcher, he gets the plate, blah, blah, blah. Injuries happen. I just hope that, the Pirates can contend to be maybe 500 this year. I think that's our best case scenario. After watching 9 games, I didn't watch all 9 games. I listened to most of them on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
I find it really relaxing to listen to the baseball on radio. Yeah,
I can believe that.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, because I listen to hockey games, and
I've done that too.
It is. You can do other things, and you can still understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's talk one more thing before we leave the baseball.
Okay.
On Friday, it was a 13-9 game, right?
Okay.
Yes.
The amount of time. The length of the game was only 2 hours and 45 minutes.
So did you like that, Steve?
I think that is probably the most exciting thing about baseball this year. You're going to see a lot of games that are going to be less than 2.5 hours. Normally a game like that last year, that'd be like a 3.5 hour game.
Yeah, it's making a big difference.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, pitch clock's making a big difference.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see them grab their nuts and pull their jock strap.
That was the
and no more 15 throws to first base.
It's like just get in there and throw the ball like that's baseball to me.
Yeah. Did you they're one of the who's the play call for the Pirates on the radio? Who's that?
I don't know who it is anymore.
Bob Walks.
Yeah, is it Bob Walk?
Bob Walk.
Yeah,
he's still around.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's actually really funny. I like listening to him on the radio. And the other day he was commenting on the pitch clock, and he said, it wasn't a direct comment about the clock. I realized after he said it. He said, and these new batting gloves these days, they adjust themselves. It's amazing. Because how many times? I mean, one of the worst. Remember Brian Roberts when Brian Roberts was the second baseman for the Orioles? you guys didn't watch him play that much, but I did. He was one of those guys who adjusted his batting gloves 500 times between every pitch. And
Barry Bonds did it a lot. Too.
Oh, come on.
He had the elbows. He had to adjust.
Yeah.
The gloves. He had to do the
I always found now, of course, this is me and playing high school ball, and I didn't play on my high school team, but I played Legion ball. I always found, like, for me hitting, it was like, I'm just going to go up and hit. Like, I wore batting gloves and everything, but the quicker I could get to the plate and just get into the groove of hitting the ball, the better. I never understood all the machinations and all that.
I never did any of that.
I think it's just a routine. Like, you know, when guys are up to the free throw line, someone will like put it around their back and like bounce it 6 times. They got to have a routine, right?
I
so
guess.
they got a new routine or they're going to strike out a lot.
My routine was smash the ball. That's what I wanted to do.
My routine was don't get hit by the ball. Try to walk.
So, you know, this year raising the Jolly Roger so far a little bit more than not. But with that injury, we'll have to see where they go. I do want to make one quick comment about David Bednar. I love that guy. I think he's hilarious, and I think he's really good.
What do you mean? He's funny?
Yeah.
What?
His
has a comedy
just
show?
His attitude. Yeah, I just think he's like, I think he's hilarious to watch.
What do you mean hilarious to watch?
He's just so determined. He's this big, huge guy who can throw 98 miles an hour. Never mind.
But that's not funny. That's just being a good baseball player.
Mark just wants to hear himself in the microphone.
I don't understand. I don't understand the funny aspects of a big guy throwing the ball.
Yeah. Well, if you just think about what you just said.
I haven't seen him throw a pitch yet. So I tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Between now and next week, I'll watch him pitch and I'll tell you if I think he's funny.
Okay.
You must be a big David Wells fan.
Yes, I was a huge David Wells fan
until he became always coming out of his uniform. He's pitching like
Well, he was like
drugs.
He was like you walk into the bar and it's like, does anybody want to pitch across the street? He was like, me, and then he would go. Okay, so moving on here. I want to thank you if you're listening to us on American Busker iHeartRadio. Oh, and we have to mention that every Sunday. At 4:00, you can catch the Sports Porch Pittsburgh and the Sports Porch Philadelphia.
Yes, you can.
On American Busker iHeartRadio. www.americanbusker.com. That's right. And of course, you can always catch us on theporcheslive.com, theporcheslive.com.
Sunday nights, right?
Theporcheslive.com.
Hey, a lot of people folding laundry on Sunday nights. I know that's when I fold my laundry.
Okay. NFL, not a whole lot of Steelers stuff going on. Obviously, the draft is 2 weeks away? We're like 2 weeks away from the draft.
Yep. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
I love the draft. It's one of my favorite days of the year.
Is it really?
Really? Do you take off Friday? You like take the next day off because you got?
Well, I don't, because they on Thursday and Friday it's only at night. So you don't take the day off. No, I will say.
Oh, that's true. You don't get up early in the morning.
I will say this. I've adjusted to it now, but I did prefer when it was all day Saturday and all day Sunday. I preferred that.
I agree with you, because you could be out and about and like, oh, they're gonna draft, and you are checking to see who they're drafting.
I like going to like a Damon's with a bunch of guys and ordering
Damon's. You're really showing your age.
Sandwich and
Yeah, remember when I used to go watch football with Charles?
Oh my god!
Back in the early fantasy league days when they first went online.
Oh yeah.
It was a couple years before I got involved with the group we're in now, but then we added that one. But Charles and I used to go down to Damon's in Fox Chapel, and he would get down there literally at like 10:30 in the morning because
to get a good spot.
They had all the direct TV, and we would be there. Just fast forward, and now it's 9:00 at night, and it's the Sunday night game. And my tab at Damon's is like $384. And that is no friggin' joke, and I am beyond hammered.
You've been there all day.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is,
it was fun though.
It was a blast. And I asked the guy, how do you get all these games? And that's how I got introduced to DirecTV. Oh, wait a minute. Jeff is in the house from York. Good evening, gentlemen. Oh, and hey, Chris. Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
Right on, Jeff.
York, PA. But anyway, that's why I got DirecTV, is because every Sunday I was slapping down my credit card for like $400 for 12 hours of football, drinking, and wings.
You could
then,
get
then you got the big Costco wings, and you made your own wings.
Then I made my own wings, and I
got
almost
a new television. You're broke even.
Yep.
Mhm.
So anyway, okay. So OBJ signs with
the Ravens.
That's right.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Bait for Lamar Jackson. Are they dangling that bait?
Probably.
That's what I said.
Yeah, for sure. But they didn't have a wide receiver anyway, so they needed to get somebody. I'm just happy they overpaid.
I'll tell you,
$15 million. Ridiculous money.
15 that could go up with incentives to 18 million. I mean, the guy hasn't played in a year.
Yeah,
and he's got a history of injuries.
Yeah,
so that is not a good signing in my book.
And he hasn't been good in like 10 years.
Right. I mean, like, to me, I could buy like a 1 year, $6 million deal, but that's about it.
Well, the problem is they don't have anybody, so they had to bring somebody in. And the problem with Odell Beckham Jr. is he can't carry a team himself anymore.
No,
like he was great with the Rams, I thought.
Yeah, because Cooper Kupp was carrying all the heavy weight.
He was the secondary or the third choice.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's the number one choice. Like you could still cover him with one guy and cover him no problem. And you don't have to worry about Mark Andrews still.
Right. And we were
Actually,
reading
good news for Mark Andrews if he sticks around.
Either we were reading DG's mind or he was reading ours. Right now, it's the simpatico there is so close, but that's exactly what he was thinking.
Yeah, David Heaton played all last year.
Yeah, so coming off the ACL.
He had a whole year to heal. The question is how much rust is on that?
Yeah. And Jeff Paulus, do you think the Ravens will trade him, possibly the Colts? I'm guessing he's asking Lamar. I don't think that's going to happen at all because I think
they'll trade him if they want to give him like 3 first-round picks.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I think the asking price is too high.
Yeah.
And I think Lamar wants too much money. I really think, and the rumor about Beckham and Lamar talking, sure, those guys talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that move, but ultimately the Ravens, they're the ones that decided to sign him, and Lamar's still not signed. Right. So it's not like Lamar went to the Ravens and said, "Hey, I talked to Odell. I talked to my buddy OBJ. If you guys sign him, I'll sign on the dotted line." Right. I think the Ravens brought him in as bait to get Lamar because now he's got OBJ on the team.
Right.
I don't think that there's any way that Lamar gets traded. I just don't. This is a weird.
I agree with you.
This is a weird standoff, isn't it?
Well, it's a poor move by him because basically what he's saying is that he's worth more than Deshaun Watson, and he is.
That's the problem.
But nobody's going to pay that contract.
Right.
They're not going to pay that for Burrow. They're not going to pay that for Hurts. Mahomes didn't get that kind of a deal. It's just not going to happen. And he's just dug in that this has to happen.
I know.
And it makes no sense. I mean, he's losing millions and millions of dollars every year that goes by that he doesn't sign. It's really foolish.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if he shows up for, OTAs and that sort of stuff. My guess is he's not. Then is he going to show up for training camp? That's going to be the big deal, and that's a long time down the road. Yeah. But this was always going to end this way. We talked about that last.
Yeah, that's true, and that is the problem. And I blame the Cleveland Browns.
It's true,
I mean, they destroyed.
We should be thanking the Cleveland Browns because we don't have this problem.
As Steelers fans, absolutely. Thank you, Cleveland.
Thank you, Cleveland,
absolutely.
for screwing the Baltimoreans.
Yeah, I get the Baltimoreans. I like that. I just don't think that. Usually, I guess what I'm getting at is usually when you see a star player, and they get into a standoff with the team, you can kind of predict where it's going to go. You can kind of say, all right, sooner or later, this is what's going to happen. He's either going to be traded or he's going to sit out. This is something where it's like, it's so beyond weird.
I don't see him standing down. I see him
no way
this year.
I think he's going to play, but I mean, come on.
Well, ultimately,
he'll only make $35 million.
Yeah, ultimately, you're not going to turn down $35 million.
Yeah, how do you do that? Yeah,
for to make a point.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
He's coming off an injury too.
Okay, and draft wise, maybe we'll do a we'll do a draft
As we
preview.
get closer.
Yeah, we'll do a draft preview. So at this point right now, I think the biggest question is, are the Pens going to make the playoffs? And so we're going to bring in Hockey Jesus, who
We're finally going to get around to some hockey. I love it.
Yeah, we're going to bring in the Hockey Jesus, Steve. And the Hockey Jesus preaches on the podcast after every single Penguins game. And you have done 80 Penguins games this year. 80. That's crazy. When you got something to say?
I was going to say Happy Easter, Hockey Jesus.
There you go. Happy Easter.
Why, thank you very much.
Yes.
I hope your Passover was non-bloody.
It was sensational.
It was what?
Bloody.
Yeah. Really?
Look, you should know by now that I don't really understand my holidays. So
yeah. Okay.
Let's just stick with yours.
Well, clearly I don't either.
Yes. So. Yeah. And apparently my privilege prevents me from understanding any sort of I love
anyway,
that.
It's nice to be fully risen again. And back. I appreciate all the prayers you said yesterday for me.
Yeah. Well, we're praying for you now, Hockey Jesus.
Well, I can tell you some prayers have been answered tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Washington Capitals are up 3-0.
There you go. Got to use the sound effects when we can. Got to get them in when we can.
That is good news.
I mean, who saw that coming? But it's a long way to go.
Yeah.
There are 2 more periods to play, and the Islanders definitely are able to come back from these things. 0-0 in the Toronto Florida game. So we're scoreboard watching tonight, of course, but we're scoreboard watching because all 3 of these teams, the Islanders, the Panthers, and your Penguins, my Hockey Jesus Penguins, are all winning. They're the only teams that are winning, by the way. All the other teams are like winning, losing, losing, winning, losing. It's like nobody, the only team that's winning is Boston.
Can you say winning one more time, please?
Well, I should say it 9 times, but I really don't feel like saying it 9 times.
Okay.
People will be turning away.
Yeah.
And Boston did set the record for most regular season.
They
wins.
did. They got the record against Mark's Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah. The fact that the Flyers scored 3 goals on them was a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
It was.
Right.
And they lost.
Okay.
But so Boston's clearly rolling. If we get some help tonight, that's a big deal because I was looking at the schedule thinking I thought the Islanders would easily win out. They play the Capitals and they play where is it? They play a crappy team.
Is it the Blue Jackets?
No, we play the Blue Jackets. I think it's
the
Montreal.
Capitals
They play Montreal. They don't play anybody good.
They only talked about it.
But here's the thing. I know I've said it so much. It's crazy.
They talked about it 8 million times on the radio today too, and I totally.
It is. It's they play against Montreal.
Okay. Yeah. So I knew it was the Capitals, and okay. All right.
But here's the thing. I thought Florida would definitely lose against Toronto or Carolina, but as it turns out, Toronto really doesn't have anything to play for anymore. They're locked in a position. They're definitely playing against Tampa Bay Lightning. And Carolina, by the time they play them in the last game of the season, may already have first place locked up. Although Carolina is losing tonight to a crappy team, the Senators, 2-0.
Yeah.
So that's actually good because if the Hurricane have to win the last 2 games to stay in first place, it all depends on what the Devils do. And the Devils, I watched that Devils Boston game. 2 really good teams. I'm surprised though. It's amazing how you can have such great talent on the ice, and it's like a 2-1 game. It's like the goalie play had just been crazy good.
Yeah.
And that's what the Penguins have been getting, and I think that's why they've been winning. The other thing they've been getting in their wins is secondary scoring. Carter scores, Nylander scores, Heinen scores in the last 2 games. Clearly Crosby was the MVP of that Detroit game. Looked great, put the team on his back, just hit a laser for his 1500th point. Only 15 players in the NHL all time have gotten to that plateau. So clearly he's one of the greatest. But hey, the Pens got to beat Chicago tomorrow, and then they got to do justice against Columbus. Now, the last time they played against Columbus Blue Jackets, they actually had to come from behind the win. They were down 4-0 in that game and won 5-4. So I think Columbus is going to be – I actually thought Detroit was going to be the worst. But I think as long as the Islanders or or somebody can beat the Florida Panthers, who are on a 6-game winning streak, which is incredible, and they play against Toronto and Carolina. If Florida can win out and win 8 in a row, man, I don't think I'd want to play them if they play against Carolina in the first round, or even if they play against Boston.
So
that's going to be a tough game.
So did you just say the Pens play Chicago and the Blue Jackets?
Yeah,
those are the last 2 games.
Last
right?
2 games. They play
So
Chicago
both of those,
at home tomorrow,
and then Columbus
on Thursday
on the road.
Columbus.
Okay.
I was thinking of making a road.
Is there any chance that they would lose one of those 2 games?
Yes, there absolutely is a chance. I mean,
I
Chicago and Columbus are firmly locked into their positions, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that. What are you going to mute me?
Yeah. Well, you keep looking at Mark, and you can just talk into the microphone. I'm pretty sure he can hear
me. They're good.
Yes.
They're good.
All right,
They know what the hockey Jesus is saying.
We're talking to
Yeah.
each other. It's,
There you go.
you know, sometimes you can look at each other.
Are you holding hands under the table? too?
That's none of your business.
you do that?
Stop talking.
That's
like a
none of your
psycho.
business. You stay on your side of the table. We'll stay on our side
Yeah.
of the table.
Okay.
Yeah. So they play. They
yeah.
could definitely lose against Chicago and Columbus, just because these teams now have all their players who want to prove something. You know, they want to try and make the team for next year.
Mhm.
So these are, and I think that's why the Capitals are winning tonight, because when the Capitals lost the other night against Florida, which they had that game in hand, there's no reason they should have lost that game. They just fell apart in the 3rd period. But that loss put them in the Bedard sweepstakes, if you don't know who Bedard is.
That's what I'm getting at.
Mhm.
The Blackhawks and the Blue Jackets are not in the playoffs.
No,
They're tanking. They're
actually
basically tanking.
The Chicago is the worst team in the West, and
Right.
the Columbus Blue Jackets are the worst team in the East.
Right.
So you couldn't have a better scenario, which makes me nervous.
Right.
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 Because it's like you have the easiest 2 teams you could possibly. Why would you? How could you lose to them?
Right.
Well, anybody can on any given night. When a goalie wants to steal a game, when you know, a couple young punks who you don't know how they play just decide to skate circles around you because they can. They're young,
Right.
and you know the Penguins. They love to skate, but they're 35-year-olds. So the 3rd period comes around, and you got 22-year-olds skating around 35-year-olds in circles. It could be a problem. So they're going to have to do what they did the last 2 games. Play a disciplined game. Don't get into these rushes. Don't get into the trading of opportunities. Just don't let any good opportunities in between the dots, in the slot. No good shots. Let Jari do his thing. Hopefully he saves those shots from the outside, which he's been doing. That's all you're asking.
I feel like
think
you could
can
just
do
say. I feel like you could just say they just need to win these last.
But
2 games.
how you win is through these things.
Yeah.
You don't do the other things. That's how you lose.
Don't do the things that make you lose. So
don't do the things that make you look good.
let me ask you this
make
question. Let me
skate
ask you
back
this
and forth.
question. Okay. Do they absolutely have to win both games, or is there a scenario in which the Islanders or the Panthers could lose and the Penguins could lose one of these games and still make it into the playoffs? I mean, I know it's like
yes.
they do need to win
Yes.
both games, but do they absolutely have to win them?
They have to win one for sure,
Okay.
because they're a point behind.
Mhm.
Got it.
The problem with that is then let's say the Islanders end up losing against the Capitals tonight. If they win and then they lose,
Yeah.
and then the Islanders lose but get the overtime, they get a point.
Got
they
it.
don't win the tiebreaker and they're out in that
Okay.
scenario.
Yeah, that's what I heard. The tiebreaker
Yeah.
is
So if you win them both, if somebody loses, the Islanders lose or Florida Panthers lose, and you win both, you're in. You don't have to think about tiebreaker scenarios, none of that crap.
right.
You're
Okay.
automatically in. You have your own fate in front of you.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
All right.
when they lost to the Devils, which nobody was surprised by, that put them out of the playoffs, and they're still out of the playoffs, even though they won their last 2.
Yeah. And I don't want 2 more Hockey Jesus podcasts. I want like 7 more. I
Well,
want
you'll
I want
get
to
at
hear the
least 4
excitement.
more.
We all do.
Yeah.
And I'll be
Hey,
honest with you,
sports
you
porters.
may only get 4 more if they
Let's
play against
Go
Boston.
Pens. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But you will get no matter what, even if the Penguins don't win, you will at least get a bonus one for the playoffs. And I promise to do a bonus one for every round of the playoffs. So that means the first round, Well, the second round, and then the third round would be the
Okay, so
games, and then
the
Stanley Cup.
hockey Jesus is gonna do his podcasts even through the playoffs, is what you're saying. Even if the Pens are out, if they're out.
I'm addicted to hockey. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
that
just be,
much we know.
And
hockey is your
reason,
nasal spray.
The reason
hockey addict.
The reason I came back to life was to watch the playoffs.
All right.
So there you go.
Okay. So hockey, Schwaber, I feel like you want to say something about the playoffs here. Anything?
No, I mean, to be honest though, regardless of what happens, I think it's most likely they will make the playoffs, and then they'll have to face Boston, and that will not end well. And if that doesn't happen, then it's even worse, not making the playoffs. I think any way you slice and dice it, it's been a disappointing year. Would you agree?
Well, it's been disappointing because our general manager wasn't able to get the pieces put together to put together a team behind the first two lines.
Right.
Let's face it. When you think of a disappointing year, you think, well, Crosby didn't have a great year, or Gensel didn't show up. Russ didn't have a great year, but you know what? He probably is going to end up with 20 goals.
Right. I think he has 20.
Yeah.
He just got it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I don't think he scored last game. No. His next goal will be 20. So it's not been disappointing from a Stars standpoint, but it has been disappointing from a management standpoint. And I don't mean Sully necessarily. And I know people aren't really thrilled with Sully. And I think he does need to figure out if he just wants to play this speed game with this team, because it's not working. But I think he needs to do that in the offseason. You can't change now.
Right.
Forget about it. Even though I think their scheme has changed a little bit in the last two games. And by that, I mean, they play a little bit more of a trap where they're not letting people just skate back and forth. But once the skating starts happening, the Penguins don't stop it. They just love the skate.
So do you think there's any possibility at all that because Boston was charging so hard into trying to score the most points and the most victories and not resting their players, that in that first round, no matter who they face, that there could be a letdown there?
Absolutely not.
No.
Well, so Boston,
I don't think so.
Boston is a machine of a team.
Yeah.
Like, to put it in perspective, they have a goal differential of like 123.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And
even I know that's crazy.
The team that's next is 61.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's second place.
That's huge.
So they're double the second place.
Yeah, got
team.
it. Yeah. So So
it's crazy.
They would have to really
good.
fall far as far as being gassed.
Well, and the other thing about their team is they just roll 4 lines.
Yeah.
And so nobody's gassed because nobody plays a lot of minutes. It's not like they have one superstar. This is what I think about Edmonton. I think Edmonton is a more skilled team, but their team game is half of what Boston's team game is. So that's why I like them so much.
Right.
And I just don't see a letdown happening. They might have an injury in their defense, or they can't even have an injury in their goalie because both of their goalies are really good. But they could have an injury in their defense that could hurt them from being able to move the puck out of their zone, which could cause problems.
Yeah, it's not like a scenario with like a pre-title Washington Capitals that relied on Ovechkin's line, and every year they were a disappointment losing in the first or second round of the playoffs. It's not like a team like that won the President's Trophy. It's truly a dominating team.
Yeah in all aspects of the game.
Okay.
So I doubt it. So it would be nice if both Florida and the Islanders would lose a game and the Penguins would win out. Then they would end up in the position where they'd either play Carolina. Hopefully they would hold on. But if they had to play New Jersey, I don't know. I did say that I would like them playing New Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
That New Jersey team got good and faster.
Well, we talked about this on the Sports Porch Philadelphia when we were talking about the Sixers. The playoffs are another season in every in every sport.
Yeah.
So you never know.
For sure. Yep.
So you guys, another interesting stat I thought at the beginning of this year. Would you have predicted that Malkin would play every game.
Did he play every game?
No.
He's played every
Has he
game.
played every game?
All 80
Really?
games
Well,
so
except
far,
for the games he gets thrown out of.
No, but he's on the roster. Yeah, well, he has the most penalty minutes too. This I
Yeah.
got to give credit to the radio crowd for this. I heard
Yeah,
this today as I was driving around. So it was like, yeah, Malkin, Raquel has played every
Raquel.
game, and so is Crosby.
Sid has, yeah.
Yeah, and there was another guy, can't remember who it was. But yeah, I mean, we were banking on a Malkin injury because it always happens. Banking on a Crosby injury because it always happens.
Yeah.
I mean, most players get injured.
Sure.
But they've played the whole year, and that's kind of actually disappointing if you think
Well,
about
it's a shame.
it.
It's a shame.
Yeah,
It's a shame that, they got that kind of effort from them and they, they're struggling to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
That's why I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
if you're going to call it a disappointment, that's the reason it would be a disappointment.
yeah. Okay, so listen, guys, every Penguins game, the Hockey Jesus preaches on the podcast after every single game. Next one is tomorrow night, correct?
Two more
Blackhawks,
left
right?
this week.
On the iHeartRadio app, the Sports podcast after every Penguins game, the Hockey Jesus preaches. So, or
Hey,
anywhere you
Sports
get your
Porches.
podcasts. And every Sunday, you can hear us on American Busker, iHeartRadio at 4 p.m. on Sunday. It's a 2-shot block. That sounded pretty good.
Two-shot
It's a
block.
2-shot block.
2-shot block coming right at you.
There you go.
Starting
yeah,
at 7.
yeah. And we want to thank American Busker, iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio has 150 million registered users, 2,000 devices, 50 platforms, something like that. I don't know. My dog Sassy's getting all crazy. Okay, last thing I want to do this week, we're going to start something we got to do some fill time here. So just because we have fun, I just want you to close your eyes and pick a card. Okay.
Let's do
Close
it.
your eyes and pick a card. Close your eyes and pick a
I
card.
can't
Come
see
on,
who
come
these
on.
people are.
Just pick a card.
You
Schwabbers.
just gave me one.
Just pick a card. No, I didn't pick. Okay.
Hey, you gave me.
So these are from my
Who is it?
1989 top set. And we're going to talk about the players and the memories that we have. So we're going to start with
Yes.
Steve. Steve, you have
Hubie Brooks.
Hubie Brooks.
as in LA Dodger.
Yeah, that's right. 1989 top set. Don't crease the edges here.
No,
I don't know
I
how-
know. It's
you know.
it's
Yeah.
mint condition here.
So give us
10.0.
the background on the card.
So
Yeah,
when I
talk to us
saw
about it.
Hubie
Yeah.
Brooks, I was thinking, wasn't he a New York Met? I remember
I
him
think
as
he
a
was.
New York Met.
I think he
So
was.
I went to the
Yeah.
back
You're thinking
and
Hubie Brown, the NBA broadcaster.
Yeah.
no,
Hubie Brooks was a
Hubie
Met.
Brooks
He
was a Met from
Yeah.
1980 to 1984.
Yep.
And then he went to the Expos
Yes.
and clearly was traded in the 1990 offseason
Yes.
to your LA Dodgers.
Yes.
Now, I don't remember. I want to say he's a shortstop, but I don't remember. So I'm going to look. Bats right, throws right.
Hubie Brooks.
It doesn't say what position he played in.
It might say it on the front of the card.
He was not a home run hitter. I don't remember it as a home run hitter and
Yeah.
like a nominal
So
average
This
guy.
says outfield right there.
Oh, yep. He was an outfielder. Right.
you go.
Got it.
There you
right
go.
there.
Yep.
Averaged in his major league career, 276.
Through 1990. Remember through 19.
Yeah,
yes.
in his first whatever.
This is the
9
Topps
seasons.
1990 set.
And has a total of 103 home runs. Yeah, he was an okay.
What was his best year in the years that you have on the card?
His best year was his first year, but it was only for 24 games.
No, okay, take that out. Yeah.
Okay, so games. Let's see. He didn't play every game a lot, so he was
Okay.
never really a full-time guy. 98 games.
Yeah.
I guess in the Mets in 82 through 84, 126, 150, 153. Okay.
That
he
was
had,
his best year.
He had 283.
Brass tacks and Steve are not going together tonight very well.
283 and 16 home runs
There you go.
in his 1984
Okay.
season.
Okay.
Not good. He's not a good player.
So
I would
you
say
you don't
definitely-
remember Hubie Brooks?
I do remember
You
Hubie
do.
Brooks
Okay.
as a Met,
Okay.
and I
Yeah, me too.
and I don't remember him being a superstar. And my
Okay.
memory is right.
So, okay, we'll put that up there real quick so everybody can see that was Steve's card. And Jeff, I had to get this comment in by Jeff Paulus. He was an expo. Now, here's the reason Jeff Paulus would know that. Jeff Paulus, I'm telling you, and you guys have never met him. I went to high school with him. We were great friends. Great guy. Born and raised in York, Pennsylvania. Okay. Backstory to
Yep.
this. That's the backstory. That's all you need. Born and raised in York, Pennsylvania.
Right.
The only Montreal Expos fan on the planet I have ever met in my life had an
Mm.
Expos hat.
Mhm.
He was a fan. Okay, you just tell us, Jeff. You were an Expos fan.
I love their uniforms. And that
he was a proud
Montreal
Expos fan.
Expos.
Growing up in
Classic.
Philadelphia, we had a big French Canadian section, so I knew a lot of Expo fans.
Oh, stop it! That's
that's such bullshit.
Schwaber's so happy he could get that. He could rattle that one off. All right, Schwaber, what's your card?
Outfielder Glenn Bragg.
Show it to the camera. Let's see.
Glenn Bragg.
This is the 1990.
Yeah.
Put it up real close. Side your face. Your camera's over. Look at that. Can you see yourself? There you go. All right.
Glenn Bragg.
Okay, Glenn Bragg.
He's
you
got a
remember
great
Glenn Bragg?
mustache.
I do remember.
I don't
him.
remember.
Yeah,
I
played
do
for the
remember
Reds.
him.
Was he outfield or first base?
Outfielder. He played all these 4 years with the Brewers. So I guess he was traded to the Reds before the start of this season. He's exactly as I remember him. Definition of an average baseball player. You know,
With a great mustache.
lifetime batting average of 256. Hit about,
Through 1990.
you know,
Through
hit
1990.
hit about 12 home runs a year. Had maybe like on average 50 RBIs a year. He was nothing special.
Hold on to that.
It was nothing special.
He's garbage.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All
He's
right.
hot garbage.
I mean, the
Bragg.
bottom line is that this is in mint condition. You could rip it up and it'd be worth more.
There you go. That's exactly right. Okay, and my player is Tom Brunansky.
Ooh,
Tom
Brunansky.
Bruno.
Yeah. Now, so from 81 to 89 with the Cardinals. So he must have been traded to or signed with the Red Sox for the 90 season. Tom Brunansky, his best year up till 1990, he batted 260 and he had 32 home runs. That would be 1987. That was his breakout year with the Twins. 32 home runs, 85 RBIs. And batted almost 260. I do remember Tom
32
Brunansky.
home runs. Yeah.
Long ball Bruno.
Yep. And long ball Bruno. So let's decide who was the best player of these three.
Oh,
Brunansky, hands down.
Oh, yeah, it's Brunansky.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Who looks
Tom
the
Brunansky.
most like Steve of these three?
Oh, wait.
Brunansky. Definitely Brunansky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely not Bragg.
Yeah. No, but there's a little resemblance there.
I don't think
It's
so.
back from
If
those
I could get a mustache like that, I'd wear it.
backwoods Mount Pleasant days. You never know
Love
what
it.
happens in the farmyard. All right. So and Jeff chimes in. Dave Cash was my favorite player as a Philly, and then they traded him to Montreal. Oh, so there you go.
Mhm.
There you go. I was a kid, so don't judge. Jeff, you ought to know by now that is what I've built my life on.
No
is judging.
judgment. No judgment
Dave
here.
Cash.
No judgment here. By the way, I have actually been to Montreal Expos Olympic Stadium
Have you?
as a little to the side.
As a little Schwaber? Oh, as a little to the side.
Wait. Were you there for like a game, or did you just like
No,
go to say I was
no,
there?
I was there with my parents, took me to Montreal and we were visiting, and where the Expos played, they played in their stadium. I believe it was called Olympic Stadium because they had the Olympics there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember.
So we did a little tour of that, all the Olympic Village, and it was all like around the stadium.
Yeah.
It was one of the less memorable moments of my life, but but I guess I do remember it
Yeah. Obviously.
because I'm telling the story.
Yeah.
I just wanted to find a way to bond with Jeff.
Yeah. And I think you have.
I think
did
you
the
went a
best.
little too far.
I did the best I could.
Yeah, you did a great job though.
Yeah,
Schwaber.
I'm very interested to see what exactly Jeff found appealing about you in high school.
About me. Oh,
Yeah.
Brad's in the house. Moving on. Brad's in the
Hey,
house.
Brad.
Hey, Brad, what's up? You came a little late, but I think Jeff actually found my endearing personality. You know what? I'm not even going to mince words.
Personality.
I no.
Jesus.
Look,
Jeff,
look,
would you say that
we're gonna-
Chris has an endearing personality?
I
No,
would say
he's not
going
gonna
to
say He's not going to say that. Look, when I was in high school, and at our age at this point right now, it doesn't matter. When I was in high school, I was an asshole. Okay. I think that's what Jeff loved about me.
Oh, really?
And I don't think he loved it because he was like, wow, I wish I could be an asshole like Chris. I think he found the shit that I did like ridiculously stupid and unbelievable. And he couldn't believe that anybody was as big as an asshole as I was. And it just made him laugh.
I think you've had a breakthrough tonight. I've never heard you acknowledge yourself as an asshole.
Yeah. Oh, dude, come on. Let's see. We got a comment here, and I'm hoping it's Jeff. I'm hoping that's another story, Mark. Right. Yeah, of course. Did I nail that though, Jeff? I mean, I'm not bragging, believe me. I actually wish I wasn't an asshole.
So you're reformed. You became a better person.
Not in the least. No.
No, you have. You have. You're not a terrible guy.
All right, well,
save the show.
That's a therapy session. Okay, listen, guys. I want to thank everybody for listening and bearing with us through this studio stuff we got going on. We're so excited that we can't stop talking. I'm loving listening to this.
Yeah, I can't stop talking. I love hearing myself.
I know you do. Yeah. See, I knew you would buy into this.
I think you like hearing me too.
No, I like hearing me.
No, I don't think so.
No, I like hearing.
I don't think nobody likes hearing us more than Amy does.
Yes, yeah, that's true. That's true. And you know what? We hung out long enough. That's Jeff agreed with me. Yep, ass all the way. You know, Jeff, that's an answer to a lot of different questions if you think about it. Yeah. All right, guys, listen, thanks for watching us on social media, for putting up with us. And as always, you can catch the Sports Porch podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts. You can get us online at theporcheslive.com, theporcheslive.com.
Theporcheslive.com.
That was fantastic.
That was
that was the wrong one. I meant that one. Breaking news. That's what I meant.
Horrible job with the features.
I'm learning.
You're going to have to label them.
Learning as we go.
Label.
Yeah, over featuring.
And remember,
somebody get Chris a label maker.
Over featuring. And every Sunday at 4 p.m. on American Busker iHeartRadio. You just go to the iHeartRadio app and pull up the American Busker station. It's an indie station. Thank you, Nancy Hahn. We love it. DG says, thanks, guys. Have a good week. Catch you next time. Yes, you will.
Thank you, DG.
And let's roll into the playoffs with the music. Let's go Pens.
Let's go Pens.
There we go.